If you walked into a bank tomorrow and told the loan officer you wanted to quit your job, buy a Wendy's franchise, and sit back while the cash rolled in, they wouldn't just laugh, they'd probably call security. Because anyone who has actually worked inside the fast food machine knows a truth that corporate brochures try very hard to hide. Signing a franchise agreement doesn't buy you passive income. It buys you a high-stakes, high-stress, 90-hour-a-week operational nightmare. Think about it. You see lines wrapped around the drive-thru every single day. You see cars idling, bags dropping, registers ringing, and you think, man, that store owner must be swimming in cash. It looks so easy from the outside. But before you even unlock the front door on day one, you're already down $500,000, and that's just the warm-up. What actually happens inside the financial engine of a Wendy's location? Who gets rich? Who gets crushed? And where does your $10 burger money really go? Let's step inside the owner's shoes and pull back the curtain on the undercover reality of owning a Wendy's franchise. Before corporate even lets you look at a contract, they put your bank account through a microscopic interrogation. They aren't looking for passionate cooks or enthusiastic neighborhood bosses. They want heavy-duty financial armor. We're talking about a required liquid net worth of at least $2 million in cold, hard, accessible cash or stocks, and a total net worth, minimum, of $5 million. Why is the velvet rope set so ridiculously high? Because corporate knows something you don't. Opening a store is a financial battlefield, and if you run out of cash during build-out, you will drown before you ever fry a single chip. Once you pass the financial background check, the meter starts running instantly. First comes the initial franchise fee, $50,000 straight to headquarters, just for the right to use the red-headed logo. Then, you need land. If you buy the dirt, build the physical shell. Install the drive-through lane, and drop in commercial-grade kitchen gear. Your upfront bill hits anywhere between $2.5 to $3.5 million, even if you lease the building. Site development costs will easily eat up over $1 million. Most new owners don't just have $3 million sitting in a checking account. They leverage up. They take out massive commercial loans, pledging their personal assets as collateral. So before day one, before a single customer pulls up to the speaker box, you are already carrying a mountain of debt service, and the clock is ticking. Now, here's where the real pressure begins to build. The doors open. The neon lights turn on. The smells of sizzling beef fill the kitchen. You watch the front counter register chime. $50, $100, $1,000. You feel an incredible wave of relief. Right? Hold on. Because before that money even lands in your business bank account, corporate takes a cut straight off the top. Notice I didn't say off the profit. I said off the top-line revenue. It doesn't matter if your store made money this month, or if an unexpected plumbing disaster wiped out your earnings. Corporate gets paid first. They take a non-negotiable 4 to 5% royalty fee on every dollar that enters the register. Then comes the National Advertising Fund. Another 4%, automatically extracted. That's right. Nearly 9 cents of every single dollar collected vanishes into corporate headquarters before you can pay a single employee or cover a single electric bill. You're paying corporate millions over your contract for the privilege of running their national commercials. Commercials you don't even get to design. So, nearly 10% of your sales are gone, instantly. But what about the food sitting on the grill? Here is an insider secret that traps almost every rookie operator. You might think, hey, beef prices are high this month. I'll buy my meat from a local butcher, or switch to a cheaper bulk supplier down the road to save margins. Try that, and corporate will pull your franchise license so fast your head will spin. As a franchisee, you are legally trapped in a closed-loop supply chain. Every single square patty, every bag of specialized fries, every frosty mix container, and even the paper napkins must be purchased through corporate-approved supply networks. When wholesale commodity prices skyrocket, you can't shop around for a bargain. You have to take the hit. You either swallow the price surge, watching your personal margins collapse, or you raise menu prices, risking the wrath of local customers who might drive across the street to McDonald's. It's a delicate, terrifying balancing act, played out every week on your balance sheet. Let's break down the actual unit economics of a typical store. An average, solid Wendy's location pulls in around $2 million in gross sales per year. $2 million sounds like a fortune, but let's follow that cash through the meat grinder. First, food and paper packaging costs consume roughly 30% of your total revenue. That's $600,000. Gone. Next comes labor, store managers, shift leaders, kitchen crew, payroll taxes, and health coverage consume another 30%. That's another $600,000. Gone. Then you have occupancy, property taxes, building insurance, and utility bills, running commercial walk-in freezers, high-output fryers, and building-wide air conditioning 12 to 16 hours a day. Generates electric and gas bills that will make your eyes water. Add in credit card processing fees, software maintenance, garbage removal, and local store marketing. And that $2 million ocean of cash has shrunk down to a modest puddle in a well-run location. A skilled operator might keep 8 to 12% as net operating profit. On $2 million in sales, 12% gives you $240,000. Sounds like a great salary. Until you remember the elephant in the room, the debt service. If you borrowed $2 million to build the location, your annual loan payments, principal plus interest, can easily swallow $100,000 to $150,000 a year. Suddenly, your real take-home pay for managing a high-stress, 7-day-a-week fast food restaurant drops into the double digits. One unexpected equipment breakdown, a walk-in freezer compressor dying on a hot July weekend, can wipe out your entire monthly profit in 48 hours. This raises an obvious, burning question. If running a single store is this brutal, why do people still chase fast food franchising? Here is the ultimate insider secret. The single store owner is an endangered species. Nobody gets ridiculously rich owning just one Wendy's location. If you own one store, you didn't buy a financial engine. You bought yourself a demanding job, the real money. The life-changing wealth happens when you master the multi-unit playbook inside the industry. They call it the cluster play. Imagine owning one location. You have to hire a full team, cover individual overhead, and pay top dollar for local services. Now imagine owning 10, 15, or 20 locations across a county. Suddenly, the math completely flips in your favor. You don't need 10 individual administrative offices. You centralize payroll, marketing, and management under one lean corporate shell. You shift staff between stores to eliminate expensive overtime pay. You negotiate bulk service contracts for maintenance, landscaping, and repair work across all 20 sites. That tiny 8% margin on one store suddenly compounds into millions of dollars in net cash flow across a regional portfolio. At that stage, you aren't flipping burgers or fixing fryers. You are running a sophisticated cash flow holding company, and that is precisely why private equity firms are invading the fast food space. They don't care about the food. They care about scale. They buy up family-owned locations, cluster them together, cut administrative waste, and milk the portfolio for predictable dividends. But just when a multi-unit operator feels untouchable, corporate drops a financial bomb. It's called the mandatory image activation remodel. Every 10 years, corporate updates the brand look. They mandate new exterior architecture, glass facades, modern interior seating, digital ordering kiosks, and revamped kitchen lines. And who pays for these shiny new upgrades? You do. The franchisee foots the entire bill. A full store overhaul can easily cost anywhere from $500,000 to over $1 million per store if you own 10 locations. You could be facing a $5 to $10 million mandatory capital expenditure. If you can't secure bank financing or refuse to upgrade, corporate can terminate your franchise agreement, taking away your right to operate the very stores you built. It's an endless reinvestment wheel. You work for years to pay off your initial build-out debt, only to be forced to take on new debt to remodel the building all over again. And now, the landscape is changing even faster. Corporate is pushing heavily into AI drive-thrus, automated ordering boards, and dynamic pricing algorithms. These tools promise to increase average check sizes and shave precious seconds off drive-thru times. But once again, the cost of installing the tech, paying monthly software fees, and maintaining the hardware falls right on the operator's balance sheet. If the AI boosts sales by 5%, corporate automatically collects their royalty cut from that growth. But if the technology glitches on a rainy Tuesday or pisses off loyal drive-thru regulars, the store owner takes the loss. So, what is the final verdict on owning a Wendy's franchise? It is not a magical financial machine, and it is definitely not passive income. The true winners in this game are corporate headquarters, who collect top-line royalties without taking operational risk, and mega franchisees who scale up to dozens of locations. For the small operator, it is a high-stakes, low-margin obstacle course, where survival depends on flawless execution, extreme scale, and managing mountain-high debt. The next time you pull up to that drive-thru window and take a bite out of a square burger, look around the parking lot. You aren't just looking at a fast food joint. You're looking at a high-wire economic tightrope act, where someone spent millions of dollars just to fight for pennies on the dollar.